Hi, everybody. Welcome to the most fabulous talk that you will have the opportunity to experience this wonderful fair. Thank you. I sound sarcastic, but I'm not. I'm actually very excited.
You're setting the bar really high there. And I appreciate that.
Well, I'm excited because first I'll do short intros for myself. We'll all introduce ourselves. I'm Ebony L. Haynes. I am a gallery director and curator, and I had the pleasure of curating the inaugural sponsored section at NADA Miami this year. Thank you.
Seriously. My name is Saiz. I'm the founder of Dale Zine, which started in 2009, and we're still here somehow. So.
And I'm just Lillian. I'm co-owner of Dale Zine. Help run the project with Steve.
She's being modest.
Thank you, guys. So I am excited because this curated project for most of the participants started I met them virtually. I was given the opportunity to spotlight 8 participants. I'm not calling them galleries, 8 participants who I thought would be interesting to shed a little more light on. I decided to focus on solo booths just because I think that's a great way to get to know artists for the first time. And Dale Zine, I'd only known from reputation through some artists that they've collaborated with, and was really excited to reach out to them to know. I knew that they could put something together or would be great at doing something in a fair. And they're one of the examples of people I've invited to the section who don't maybe have a brick or mortar or gallery in their name, for example, but really work with artists in the same way that curators and directors do. It's just maybe not an exhibition with a title and a painting, although they do that as well. So why don't you start by telling us a little bit to that point of how Dale Zine started?
Do you want to start?
Well, I think Steve should start because he started in 2009.
Yeah, I started basically, and I think, we have mutual friends like Sam and Duty. Basically, I was working at an office for their fine art practice, Friends With You. And this was around, 2009. And there was a lot of, creativity obviously going around in the office, and people were coming in and out of the office that I've always wanted to do projects with. And one day I was like, why don't we just do a zine? And I was like, let me just pick some central figure or a theme. I was, I'm obsessed with Garfield cartoons. So I was like, let's just that's the topic. Everybody do a page. Then it really grew from there. A lot of people that were featured in that collective zine wanted their own books published. And then it kind of just spread from there and there and there. And my background, both of our backgrounds actually are in production. I work in advertising as an art director. Lillian's amazing, talented art and wardrobe stylist. So
mostly with dogs and cats though.
Yeah, she's a master. She's being modest. And then from there, we ended up getting really cool, creative projects. We did a spot for Sesame Street, and it all started from this little zine project. Yeah, it was fun. And then later on, obviously, we opened up our first bookshop. 3 bookshops later, we're in our new home. Yeah, that's kind of a quick.
I think also Steve had already moved to LA, and I was visiting him, a casual date. And there was a LA Art Book Fair, and then he took me as a date. And there was a zine section. I was like, oh, we'll check it out, thinking it's going to be 4 or 6 tables, as any zine fair you see, And it was beautiful. It was this whole area full of I don't know, in my head, 200 zine vendors. And I was like, Steve, you're applying next year, There's nothing that anyone here that is not doing that you're not, So he applied and we got in, and that kind of watching a lot of people we look up to just sitting at their booth selling their art was just so groundbreaking for us, and it kind of opened a veil of we can start thinking forward. We don't have to just be in this square of we just art books. We could there's actually a journey in that for us.
Yeah, Yeah, I would say, like, I get to reiterate that, like, printed matter is just like such a mind-blowing thing for us. Like, we didn't know there was like, we knew of printed matter, we would go to them, and then like never thought we would like get in or be embraced so hard by this community that we respect so much. And it was like the total opposite. Like, they just, it's just such an awesome community, and like really shows that we could do this. So
One of the biggest problems in the art world is the imposter syndrome. We all feel like we're not supposed to be here. I mean, maybe not all of us. Some people really feel like they should be here. But I think that sense of, until you are invited by, getting into a fair, and these guys were so humble. Alejandra, the most talented painter who they're exhibiting, was also
Alejandra
like
Moros
everybody.
over there. Absolutely.
It just felt like I can't take any credit for what they put together, but it's always, I'm just trying to say, you don't have to feel like an imposter anymore. You guys are here. And to that point, this idea of what really a gallery is and what it means to work with artists, when we started communicating about the section and thinking about solo presentations, these guys had no shortage of ideas with artists they were actively engaging with. Which made me feel really excited and brainstorming about what would be the best presentation for the fair. And that's my own curatorial note to say, there's other spaces out there who do the same thing I do. So I was really excited to showcase it. Because you guys are like curators also. I mean, if you think about the projects you put together, you have a list of like 4 dozen artists that you've partnered with over the years.
Yeah, I mean, it just, going back to like the imposter, thing you were mentioning, like until we got that call, I felt like this is something we would never probably do, because it's such a, like elitist kind of thing it can be, So like for you to call us and invite us to this crazy journey is like such another life-changing thing to make us see ourselves in that way, even,
It's not always just about money, but for me, it's largely about money. One of the main platforms for me as a curator is really to focus on the commercial part of commercial art. I think artists really deserve and have earned the right to live from their practice and their craft. Like, you don't go to school to be an accountant and not get a salary. They're like, oh, I'll take a fee for a year. It's like, no, you get paid a salary. So I was really thrilled, and I think it's not gauche for me to announce at a commercial fair that they have sold out their booth.
Yeah, we're so excited. I'm so proud of Alejandra, too.
Very proud of Alejandra.
We couldn't do it without Alejandra.
I just think it's really important for us not to forget that this is commercial and to not shy away from it and to really embrace it and to talk about why it's important to empower spaces and artists to sell and earn money from what they're doing. This will just, I hope, help Dale Zine, grow even more.
Yeah, I think we keep like meeting really great people like you, and we try to kind of have that same mindset when we meet people that maybe are accountants, but they actually are incredible artists. And we're like, well, why don't you just put a zine together? Just start somewhere, and like you don't like your first show doesn't have to be like, at Nada. Like your first thing that you actually create could be just a zine, and you don't know where that zine could travel to, and I think I always like push that in people's heads, and it's so funny. And you're like, no, you could do this too. It's just, me learning a little bit what I'm saying,
And when you guys, it seems like, I think I know the answer to this is probably that it is organic, but are you usually the ones who go out or approach artists when you have ideas? Do you work in the other way? Like, let's say somebody came to Dale Zine and said, I have an idea for a zine.
Yeah.
Or an object or an art show.
Yeah, it happens in a number of ways. Like, but mostly organic. Like, we typically like don't really like hunt down people, or like we have to do a project. Like, we kind of just let it happen, or like we get introduced to them, or a lot of the projects that we have been like fortunate to do with our publications have been through like printed matter. Like, I don't remember like how many people
Big up
we
Printed Matter.
Yeah, like,
clap for Printed Matter, y'all.
Yeah.
If y'all don't know who Printed Matter is,
I always mention this because it's so like, that's another life-changing thing for us. Like how we would get placed next to like a Jeffrey Chung that is now like one of our like longtime best friends, and we're able to like work with him and just have a good time. So like when it happens like that is always the best, I think.
Yeah, and I think it goes both ways. Like sometimes someone will just blind email us, and it happens to be the right time where we're not like moving out, being pushed out of a store, and we could like focus on our email and we're like, wow, this is incredible. Let's do this.
It just happens at the right time, and then there's been other times where I was like looking through my email and I found the submission from 4 years ago. And I'm like, this is sick. Like, why didn't we see this? Or it just happens in a bunch of ways.
And can we talk about this new growth that's happening right now? You have a new space.
Yeah, we do.
Clap.
It's been crazy. Yeah.
More claps.
Thanks to like a lot of friends that are here, actually, we were able to like make this all happen in time. We just got the keys like
I think now
12 days ago or something?
now we could say 13 days ago.
Yeah, 13 days, 2 hours.
Every minute counted.
Yeah, it was a crazy situation. Like we had, we were working on our downtown space. Like we had moved to our second shop, and we were working nonstop. It needed a lot of renovation, so we were doing like floors, like our friends right here, like Kelly Breeze especially right here. Can we give a round of applause for Kelly?
Kelly.
Like, amazing, talented artist, and also knows how to like lay down VCT tile like nobody's business. Like it's like.
She's probably never gonna do it again though. After
she's had it.
After
is
14
this
days ago.
space?
Look at her work. And her actual work right here is beautiful. So we had done all these renovations for the spot, and then we're only open 3 months after doing like 6-7 months of renovation, and it was like very heartbreaking. The day actually that we spoke on the phone call, we had gotten the news that day. So it was.
Are you able to share with everybody else here what the news was?
Yeah, the news basically was that the space was deemed like unsafe, so we had to pretty much leave within a matter of hours. And again, a lot of people in this community came and helped, and we did it.
Yeah.
It's always like so like touching for me when people come out.
It's crazy because the first space that we had, I remember our friend painted the sign, and I was like, all right, Steve, I'm thinking he's gonna go with his dad and a few people to put up the sign, and he's like, no, I don't have anyone. I'm like, okay, well, maybe text Roy, who we just met like a week before. And him and Roy put up the sign, and was like, man, it's so crazy to think that we had one person help us at this one shop. And then when we had to go close, like within an hour, like so many people came, like just, we didn't answer back to a lot of people, but they just came, like dropped whatever they were doing, and they brought trucks, they brought boxes, and just packed up the shop for us. And like, Steve and I were like in shock. Like I don't think I even packed one thing because I just couldn't believe what was happening. And it was just so cool to see how much like we could just put that out there, and there was like a community of people just ready to help us. And then it's like, again, like we opened on Sunday, and I'm like, all right, like we'll get some people there. It's Basel. Everyone's too cool for for us. And then it was like a home goods style line of people waiting to buy stuff, and I was just like, again, like, what?
Yeah, it was.
That's awesome. I'm telling you, it's the imposter syndrome.
Yeah, it was.
You get over it. You have a sold-out booth at Nada.
Yeah.
You should get some velvet ropes for outside of your store now.
But honestly, it's because of a community, and like, yes, like I do think we put our community first, and that's why we get to say that.
Absolutely, I think that. When I say you should dismiss the imposter syndrome, that doesn't mean you don't have to be good people.
Yeah, there's like a difference.
And stay tight to your community. You don't have to be a lone wolf. And do you think, now I'm just asking questions, are we opening up for questions? What are we doing after?
Yeah, we can.
Okay. Well, I'll ask a few questions first, but then maybe we'll open it up and then keep talking. Do you think you'll do another fair after this experience?
I
think
would
so,
love
yeah.
to.
So it's a really exciting new chapter for us, I think.
I think too, it's like I don't think maybe like if you would have asked us 2 years ago, we would have been like, oh, absolutely not. We're not even like, we're not there at all. But I feel like just doing that is so hard, and like even opening the shop and it's really busy, and like all these questions and all the things you have to do, it's really breed us to do this. And I didn't realize that until 10:30 a.m. today.
Yeah, and it's like when we're in the book fairs, like we we're just as passionate about a $5 zine, you know what I mean? Like it's all, the mission is spreading the artist's work, you know? So it's no difference to me. Like
Exactly.
it's just these pieces are obviously more expensive and stakes are higher or whatever, but our intentions are the same, you know?
That's a great point. I think that's exactly what I was hoping to exemplify with the people I selected in the section, is that the intentions were always there, and maybe had they not been invited, they would have felt it was not attainable, but it is very attainable.
Yeah, we're so grateful and blessed. Like, it's amazing.
You guys did it. Alejandra, congratulations again. Shout out the artist.
Nailed it.
And I'm happy to open it to the crowd if y'all have a question.
All right, good.
In the back.
All right, see you guys.
Curating community, curating content, and how you show up in spaces and keep the community.
I think that for us, especially when we lived in LA for a little bit, and we realized how lucky we were in Miami, that we could just like DM a coffee shop and be like, we want to do an event there, and everyone's like, yeah, for sure, let's do it. And I think it could happen in other cities, like big cities like New York and LA, but it just was a lot easier here, you know. And we always tell people too, because they see the shop and they want to do it too. But we're like, you know, you don't have to just, like, if you want to do a fair, you want to do, like, you don't have to start big. Like, call the local coffee shop or any venue, and be like, we don't have to be the only one selling your zine. Like, we have zines in Tokyo and Paris and Japan. So can you. All you have to do is reach out to them. So I think we encourage people to do what we're doing, because we want there to be like 100 zine shops in Miami, and like, well, I hope that happens, but like, you know what I mean? Like, we want to foster that, and we want to encourage that. So like, there's no like stupid question for us, and I think, talking to everyone about what we're doing, even if they don't understand it, it's fine. Do you have anything else about fostering community?
Yeah, I think you asked about like how we curate the artists. Like, I think the core of it has always been like, let's pick people that are like always misheard or unheard of, like, you know what I mean? Like people that don't have a voice ever. And then it's from that it's grown to a lot, That's how we like foster the community. Like a lot of our artists in our first zine were like people like me, like they have like a design, like a day job, like accounting, like you mentioned. There's some people that were like retail people, but they would like go home and like paint or do collages or write poetry or whatever. And that's been like the whole thing. Like, no, you are talented. Like how you pushed us for this. We're doing the same in a way for that. And that's how we kind of pick people, honestly. Like, we try to see like the good work that they are potential, like the potential they do have. Did we get to everything on that?
I think so. We got to everything,
That's
right?
so nice. That's so nice. You see the potential. Yeah. I wish more people did that. Debbie Downer on the stage. If there are any other questions, no pressure. It was interesting, this idea of community, and I mean, really what keeps getting thrown at me when I'm being asked about the spaces that I've invited to the section is this word collaboration. And I've had this conversation with a few close friends recently, and I think about this a lot in this section and in relationship to not just you, but a few other participants. And like, there's almost something not accurate for either participant in that. Like it's a what's the word? Partnership, not a collaboration. I think personally, I'm interested to hear your thoughts. I feel like when people tell me that this is a collaboration, even for me and collaborating with the people I've selected, it almost takes away agency in a way that I don't feel is accurate. Like, it's a partnership which allows for dissonance, and I am partnering with my 8 selected participants because I believe in what they can do and they should show. But that doesn't mean that we have to collaborate on everything. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I'm interested because you guys just work with artists in so many various ways.
Yeah, we work with artists, but it's like there's been times where like I like somebody's work and let's say they're good at like airbrushing or whatever. Like I don't ask them to do an airbrush zine. Like it's like you do whatever you want, and like I think that's how you entrusted us with this. Like if you're gonna collab or partner with somebody, you're gonna let them do their thing. That's why I think this is like so special for us as well. It's kind of how like we approach our projects, our little publications.
Yeah.
Don't call them little.
Yeah, I gotta stop saying little. It's like
No more little, and don't say just in front of when you describe yourself.
we're like a bunch of our buddies are sitting here talking about Thanksgiving, and like, the parents always at the table like, how's your little zine thing going? Like, it's like we were cracking up about that. Like,
Oh man, imagine explaining to your family what a curator means.
Oh, right, yeah, it's tough.
I just tell them I'm an accountant.
It's just easier at that point.
Yeah, it's fine. I'm sort of an accountant. I still have budgets. I wanted to give everyone in the audience a little insight too. I don't want to speak too much about you as though you're not here, and I also don't want to sound condescending. And now that I've prefaced my statement with all of that first, it made me feel so thrilled, just like these little things that y'all were doing and so many participants, like the amount of care that went into these booths from this team who owned the space and their artist was on the micro level to a point that I was emotional with my partner. We were, I was doing something in the kitchen and they tried to FaceTime me because they were installing. And not that I had the end-all, be-all decision to make, but they were genuinely interested in what I thought, just as a sounding board, which made me feel so excited to see the final presentation. A few of the spaces did that, and it's like, wow, to know or to trust the process and to involve everybody around you just made me like, I knew y'all were gonna kill it. It looks so great. That's just my compliment that I've been waiting to give them.
Thank you.
They took this and not that you wouldn't take it seriously either again, but I was just so thrilled to see what you guys did.
Yeah, we did it super easy. We didn't fight at all. It was,
It's not good unless there's a fight.
Yeah,
You're right.
no,
Yeah,
no,
we
we're
both
very-
care a lot about this. So.
No, we're very passionate, and it's like funny to think about like what our quarrels are. And it's like we need to get the right furniture.
Oh, you guys are now full-time exhibitors, if that's the argument. Can you tell people where they might, like what's up with the new space and an opening? There's an event happening. You should broadcast it.
Yeah, so exactly this photo right behind us. So within our new space, it's a lot, like triple the size of our last spot. So we've always had this idea that we did want to show work. And we thought we'd always, like start at our shop. But like it kind of happened with Nada and then this, it was a perfect time. And the show is beautiful. It's titled Sun Showers, and it has Kelly Breeze, like we mentioned before, German Casares, so many artists. Like
We have a lot of artists actually here. We have Nikki Erickson right here. This,
she's right in
ceramic
the audience as
sculptor
well.
right here.
Super talented. Like Manny Pires is here as well, longtime friend, amazing Miami artist as well.
Kyle Chapman.
Kyle Chapman here as well.
Yeah.
This piece right here. We have Jesse Knight. We have some out-of-towners.
B. Tom.
B. Tom Stevenson.
Shout out to Miracle Seltzer.
Would you guys say
Yeah.
that you work largely with local artists more than
No.
not? No.
I think people tend to think that way, and I think it hasn't been like that from the beginning. Even with your group zine, I always thought it was just people that worked at Friends with You, and then he's like, oh no, I met this person on Tumblr, and I
Yeah,
was
it was
like,
a long time ago.
but it's still
don't
the
judge.
same.
You still have a Tumblr page. Don't
I still do
fool
actually.
anybody.
I'm like, it works.
Yeah, I think that one thing too is that like Miami is a very international town, and we get to meet so many people because we live in a vacation town, and I think that's helped us to kind of like not just we focus on Miami. We want we do we really care about harboring that, but a lot of people that we work with are international, which is really fun. We do this project too called Happy Zine, where it's actually just Miami local. We try to do like, it's very small. It's like 5, vendors every month in the summer, and we like them not to know each other, and it's very small because we want them to collaborate or somehow work together, become friends, and it's been really fun to see Like we started it like 4 years ago. It's fun to see like how many like friendships have grown, or how we met Roy, who's manning the booth right now, and he's like
The best thing that
an
ever happened to
angel.
us. Yeah.
We met, a lot of our friends through that, and it's just been, and Print a Matter too. Like all the fairs, just doing that, we've met so many artists. So it's helped us too. Like, oh yeah, let's publish a book with you. B. Tom, Jason, Jason Wright. We met. We sat next to them at a was it New York or LA Art Book Fair, and
Yeah, New York.
that's how we started working together. So it's really
Super
organic,
Yeah.
yeah. And sometimes it's just, Tumblr.
And very important question, what is your favorite album right now? That's a selfish question. I like to
I should
ask
have seen
everybody
this coming
that.
with your podcast.
I think it's important. What's the
What do
last
we
thing
even
you
listen
listened to? It might be
I'm always
embarrassing.
so bad at this
but
question. I'm like,
You know the last thing you listened to. You just might not want to say it. Adele.
an Emerson, Lake and Palmer song, but I don't remember what it.
That's great.
It was like Emerson, Lake and Palmer radio on Spotify. Is that?
Yeah,
work?
that's fine.
Okay.
I mean, in
I love a
September,
radio.
when we were closing the shop, I endured everyone around me to listen to new Casey Musgraves album. But now
God,
I'm
yeah.
like listening to Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah, if I'm being really truthful, because we're all
Please.
vulnerable here.
Please.
The new Adele.
I said
Word.
that. Did everyone hear me say that? I knew it. We're all listening to Adele. I just took a flight and was listening to Adele for 30 seconds, and I was like, I'm going to cry this whole plane ride if I listen to it.
That was technically the last thing, yeah.
Thank you for sharing it.
We're being honest here.
It's so telling. Well, thank you guys for joining me on stage. I'm I'm honored to have my name associated with what you guys
Oh.
have done. I also really did a great chat with Alejandra earlier, so thank you. Stand up. Let's just stand up to the artist. First time showing. Really great. And this talented artist sold out all of the work, so now you can get a studio. Bigger. Yes. Oh, question in the back.
Question? Oh, yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
we love him. Yeah.
AJ is amazing. He's this. I remember, right before COVID, and this is such like a telling thing of something that we did right before COVID. We did we met up at Taco Bell. What was the thing called? We met up at Taco Bell, and anyways,
The Taco Bell drawing party.
yeah, it was a Taco Bell drawing party, and AJ showed up, which is I think
Yeah.
he's 11 years old.
Jason, yeah. Jason Poland.
Oh yeah, it was in honor of like Jason Pollock. So we all went, and he showed up, and he was talking about music and like how he's such a big fan. We're like, who is this kid? Like, obviously with the coolest parents that are so supportive, that like, yeah, I'll take you to Taco Bell to go draw, and so he's been making music and tapes and zines. So when we asked him to come perform, and like, we had zero expectations, but like literally the coolest kid, coolest album. Like
It's so crazy. It's like,
he has a song called like "Crawl at the Mall," which I really relate to because like my day job is a stylist, so I'm always at the mall and I'm crawling. So I might have a personal like love for that song, but yeah, Benny Boys, look him up.
buy the record. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like a tiny like Iggy Pop. Like it's like he just has like the craziest energy, and he's like 3 feet tall. Like he's like 6 years old, or no, he's a little older, right? Like 9 years
11.
old. Oh, he's 11, whatever. He looks awesome.
He's 6 feet tall and he's 11?
no,
My
no,
good
he's
Lord.
3 feet tall, and he's 11.
That sounds
yeah,
pretty
yeah.
cool.
Yeah, but he's like doing his own fairs now. So yeah, hit him up if you want to sell a zine at one of his fairs.
Any other questions? Oh yeah.
Yeah, we love a kids project.
For sure.
I mean, a big part of that too is like we love working with children. Like they kind of just work. Like they're like the whole they don't like think about like, oh, I can't do that, or oh my God. They just like, oh yeah, let's make a zine together, and they're just so organic about it. But what gets us most excited is to see the parents kind of joining in and kind of forgetting like all of that and having fun with them and sharing that with their children is why we keep working with it, because it's just so inspiring for us, but it's just so fun to see families coming back whenever we do any family, centered project.
That's awesome. Thank you, guys. Thank you guys for
Thank you.
listening and for
Thank you,
being
guys.
here for Dale Zine.
Thank you
Thanks
so
for
much,
Dale.
Ebony.
Thank you.
Forever grateful for you.
No, it's my pleasure. I feel honored that you're in there.
Thank you, everybody.
Everybody, if you don't already know, the curated spotlight section are all of the booths that have the black signage because I'm black.
Woo!
Thank you.
Come to the Dale Zine shop, y'all.